D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I watched Superman Lois episode 4 from season 2, and let me just tell you right now, this was a really good episode. It wasn't as the thing about this show is it's just really really good, and I think that they're doing a good job with like for instance, I think that this show compared to a lot of other shows is showing a good father figure in the three fathers that are on the show. You got Clark, John Henry, and then uh the Cushings, what's his name, Kyle Cushing, and everything, and they're all three good dads, and that's what really makes me have one thing, because I'm a dad and I'm always like, everybody's like, oh, representation matters, and I was like, well, how come all these dads are bad in these movies and everything? It's like Disney princesses, all their moms are dead, and I'm all like, why don't we stop doing that stuff and everything? But in this one, I really liked that they focused on the sibling thing with Lois and her sister. I really thought that that was really good. And there was something interesting though in this one, because their dad is not good, but there was something that happened that I was just like, huh, I wonder why he wasn't questioning that. And then we got to see a little bit more of the villain. What was her face? Allie. Because she is Parasite. She's a version of Parasite. And I just recently, I only had a handful of comic books with this character in it. And she's got a brother, and they're both parasites. And he doesn't want to be it because, and because they're all morgified and everything, but she loves it. I'm not quite sure what they'll do with that, if they'll make her the pink parasite that she is in the comic books, because her brother is green. But I'm interested to see where they go from here. All right, so I'm going to get started on this breakdown and everything, but before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line, and it sucks. It really does. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So it starts 5 years ago. And her sister is leaving. She's staying with them and everything in Metropolis where they used to live. And she's like, I gotta go. And she's like, you're just gonna go back to Allie? And she's like, yeah, at least Allie understands me. She's like, and she's talking about how like it's a cult and everything. And she's like, yeah, but Allie, there's nothing here that, you have a beautiful family and everything. And she's like, we love you, we want you here. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to be here, kind of thing. And I really felt bad for Lois, because Lois is just like, I don't want my sister, because she found her sister in, dying because she had tried to kill herself with pills and everything. But we have this flashback and everything, because we're going to go into that when she's talking to Allie. But she's like sitting here and she's obviously going through something. And I can tell you right now, this is how cults do. They feed on the weak-minded, and then they exploit that, and it really sucks and everything. I'm curious to wonder if this is connected to the Arrowverse anymore, just because they're using the same actors, but at the same time, I just go, you're changing up her backstory, because in Supergirl she was not all depressed and stuff and everything with a cult, or at least we didn't hear anything about it. If we did, I don't remember. So anyways, so she's like, just stay, kind of thing. So she's back at the diner, and she's talking to Allie, and she's all like, your sister didn't feel like she wanted to, or you, she's like, you didn't feel like she wanted to talk to you. And she's like, she didn't want to, or you wouldn't let her. And she's like, no one is with me in my cult against their will. Everybody does whatever they want, which I don't think that's, and she's like, no, you're a parasite. She even calls her parasite. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And she's all like, your little thing kind of ruined me, kind of thing. And she's like, I told the truth. And she's like, did you though? Listen to our podcast tomorrow and everything. And she's all like, I can't remember what that lady says, but Lois says something like, she's like, if you don't give me my sister, I'll expose you, or something like that. And she's like, she stands up and she's like, I don't, and also do 4 of these dudes. And she's like, I don't take kindly to threats. And she's like, neither do I. And then they all leave and everything. because I forgot to say. So she was explaining that when Lucy had killed herself, she wasn't dying, she was transcending. What a load of crap. She was transcending. Yeah. How come all these freaking weirdos are talking about transcendence and everything? And I'm all like, listen, I don't I don't think we're going to be transcending anytime real soon. Us humans, we're not exactly, the best species in the universe, if you get what I'm saying. So everyone's talking about transcendence and everything. I'm like, death doesn't sound like transcending. Anyways, and then they later still talk about how she saw her other self. Like, what is that? So she leaves. Pardon me, I'm tired. It's early in the morning for me when I'm recording this, probably not when I post it. So she goes back and everything, and she's like, hey, she calls her partner, Sophie, I think it was her name. Anyways, she's like, hey, you're right, we need to find Lucy. And she hangs up, she's like, crap, and everything. So we go over to Bizzaro, and he's in the Sudan, I think. And he's trying to that diamond that's around his neck. You know, in the comic books where he's got that like hanging chain, it says like Bizzaro number, it says Bizzaro number 1 or something like that. I think that's this version of it. And I have a theory on what it is and everything. So he's trying to destroy it, but he gets the little thing. And so does Clark at breakfast. So sitting there, and then they're like, what's your mom doing in there? And he's like, and Jordan's all like, she's been listening to that podcast all morning. He's like, don't use your super hearing to spy on your mom. He's like, but since you have, what was she doing? What's going on? And they tell him that Lucy recanted and said that mom lied and everything in her story against Allie. And so she's upset and everything. And she's all like, she recanted everything. And she's all like, talks about, I think she says the line, I just want my sister back, kind of thing. I can't remember exactly. Sorry, you guys. I didn't write it down and everything. And the thing about the speeches in here, they're good, but like it's good because it's like, it's how like normal people would talk, sort of, with a little bit of a twist on it. Cause like, yeah. So then they're sitting here talking about the suit, and Natalie is talking about how they need to fix it, and she doesn't know where they can get parts from. And John Henry's all like, well, we'll get it. And he's making a list of all the parts and stuff. And she's like, all right, we'll start working on it. So then Clark comes in, and he's all like, Lois is driving them to school. And he's like, you want some coffee? And he's like, of course. So then back at the diner, they're sitting here talking about her quinceanera. They even talk Spanish, which I liked it a lot. The guy that plays Kyle, Alex, I don't remember his last name. He's actually Hispanic. So they're speaking Spanish. Love Spanish. It's such a beautiful language. I wish I would have kept up with it. Only took one semester. I wish I would have done it. But anyway, talking about her quinceanera. I'm glad that she decided to do. Quinceaneras are super fun. Super fun. I love stuff like that. Anyways, so they leave, and she goes to pay, and then this woman, can't remember her character's name, she comes up and she's like, hey, I want you to know, Dean, the mayor, like the dude running for mayor against her, he came in here and he was asking questions about you and your daughter. He's trying to dig up dirt. And she's like, oh, my daughter? She's like, oh, it is on, sister. So he better just bring it and everything. So she leaves and everything, which I mean, like, it doesn't surprise me that a douchebag like that would go that low to find out about a daughter. And they're talking about her, how Sarah had a suicide attempt also. I don't like suicide. I don't like death. Death bums me out. Like, I'm not scared of it. I just don't like it. It makes everybody sad. So they're sitting here talking. He's like, yeah, I like it. I like it out here in Smallville. I always grew up in the cities and everything. And it's nice. And he's like, yeah, my dad said he joined the army to get away from the work on the farm. And then he's like, it's really nice to be out here too. He's like, this place will never be the way it used to be, the farm wise. And he's like, yeah, Natalie's really starting to get used to it too. She's starting to like it. And then he has one of his episodes, and he sees that Bizzaro is on his way. He's like, he's coming here, and he lands. And I was like, ooh, that's a good shot. I was like, I do like the way they've done Bizzaro here. He looks very, very good. I know it's just Superman, but whatever. So I have a theory, okay, about this thing around his neck, and I want to do it within the next couple. I want to tell you about it within the next couple of shots. So he sees him, and then they just go at it. Okay, yeah, this thing right here. I'll tell you. Okay, so they go at it, but while they're fighting, let me get the if I got the screenshot. There. Okay. So you see this thing, it's like pulling energy off of Superman, right? And I think it's also doing it from Bizarro, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll talk about that in just 2 seconds. So it's pulling energy off of him as they fight. See that? See that? It's pulling the energy off, or at least I think that's what it's doing. So this is my theory, okay? That is that thing that in the Superman movies, the original ones that held Zod, that was that little, I think they call it a triangle, but it's more like a square, but it's some kind of special triangle. I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. I probably am wrong. Anyways, I think that that's from the 1979 movie where that's floating through space, that's got Zod and they're all like, oh, and everything in it. I think that Doomsday's in there and that they need enough energy for it to open. That's what I think. Just spitballing here, okay? Watch, I'll be wrong. I hate when my theories are wrong. Anyways, so then he's all like, John Henry Irons, he calls his hammer and she's like, but you do not have your glove on. And he's like, doesn't matter. So he throws it and it knocks him off of him. And then he takes off. Bizarro takes off. And he's like, are you okay? And everything. He's like, yeah, and everything. So then she goes back to the office and she's been up all night trying to find out. Gosh, I got to do these things later in the day, but if I don't, I won't have time to do it. So she's like, where do you go to when the whole world has basically think you're a fraud? You go to the dark web. And I found the dark web, got an invitation to her little meeting, and it's only like 20 minutes away. Let's go. So they go. Then back at the Cushing's house, they're arguing whether or not, well, they're not arguing, but they're talking about whether or not they should tell Sarah about what Dean is doing. Because he's all like, this could trigger her and she could, relapse. And I don't want that for my daughter. And I get that. But she's all like, we need to tell her so she can get ahead of this. So she's prepared when people start questioning her about it and people start, kind of judging her about it. And he's like, how this town likes to talk. I'm on her side. Lana's side, because you should always communication is key in any relationship, and she's right. I get Kyle's position to protect. I love this screenshot that I got. I love his position to protect his daughter, but that's you got to tell her in this instance, and they do, which they make the right decision. So back at school, she talks about her friend and how her and her dad created this store and they put all their money into it and everything. So she's going to go there after school, whatnot. And he's like, well, when we go, he's like, we can get anything you want. My choice. And she's like, it's not good. Bergman or Goodman Dorfman, whatever. It's just a grocery store. And I thought that was cute and everything. I love romance, everything. This is so stupid, but I think it's just super cute and everything. So then drug dealer girlfriend, which I have not looked it up. I should do it. I'll do it by the time the next episode comes out, but I can't figure out if she's playing the old character, but just a new actress, or a completely new character, and the old actress just went away. Because if they did that, they didn't explain what happened to the old character, which is fine. I don't care either way. But I do, I did like that other actress. They're both hot though, and everything. So she's like, did you puff up yet today, buddy? And he's like, not yet. I don't know if it's for me. And she's like, well, he's like, what does he even do? And she's like, different stuff for different people. Like for me, I was super strong, but also I can't remember what else she had. But she's like, Susie Beekler says that she could hear her mom at work from like 100 miles away and everything. So they're getting the powers of Superman, which I'm curious as to how Kryptonite gives you Superman powers. Like I'm just, it's like whatever, because it's not in the comic books. And if it is, I haven't read it. But anyways, she's all like, but hey, just so you know, Petey boy, he bought 5 this past weekend. So just so you know. So then back at the barn, they're talking, and they used the AI to track that little diamond thing that he was wearing around his neck. But they need satellites to do it because he can't do it. He doesn't have the technology. He just has the way to track it or whatnot. So he has to go to the DOD. He's like, I'll do it. And he's like, and he goes or whatever. So then back at the store, they're still talking, and she's pretty. And they're talking about how she had to quit cheer because she's just running the store with her dad and everything. And it's hard to find people to work or whatnot. Ding, ding, ding. Somebody's going to get a job there. And so Jordan hears some dude's gonna steal something. So he goes over there and they're gonna steal liquor. Don't steal. It ends bad. I know you're probably somebody that's like an adult and you're all like, yeah, we got to do don't steal and everything. Talking to the youth right now. I'm an influencer of the youth. So but don't steal. It's so not worth it. It's so not worth it. Anyway, so they're talking about stealing alcohol, which I kind of get as a teenager and everything. I was a good kid though, so I didn't steal any. Oh, I did steal, but I didn't drink alcohol, and not at a proper age. Anyways, so they're gonna go steal. So he ices up the floor, and then they slip and drop the alcohol. And then they were, as soon as they slipped, my immediate reaction was, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. I want $150,000, but we can settle out of court for $20. Like I thought they were going to be all like, I'm suing this place. But anyways, nope, they leave. And Sarah's all like, hey, and she's like, Sarah, it's okay. Don't go after him. We record everything. We have it on surveillance. And he's like, oh shit. So they're talking to the cops and he is so freaking, look at him holding that phone like what am I gonna do, oh no, kind of thing. I was like, oh, you done messed up, stupid. And everything. So he calls his grandpa and he's like, hey, what do I do? And his grandpa fixed it. He just messed up the little thing. He's like, you wanted to do something noble, I get that, but you're not trained. He's like, if you would have noticed your surroundings, you would have noticed if you were just 2 steps to the left, you would have been in a blind spot and you would have been just fine. He's like, you're not ready to be a hero, kind of thing. And so they go back to this thing and she's in her disguise and she's ready to go. And so she goes in and she's like, if you see Lucy, text me and we'll, whatever, I'll come in or we'll do whatever. So she's giving her spiel. And she walks in and she's talking about how like there's something missing in you. There's a hole and I can tell you what that is you're missing. And I was like, I don't think you can. I think you're just siphoning off these people's like depression / whatever. And that's how you're doing your inverse method or whatever. I'm very curious to see where they take this villain and everything. So back at the DOD, he comes in, he's like, you went all rogue and everything. He's like, listen, he's like, I need your help. He's like, that thing, we can track it now. And he gives him the little sticky thing, the little jump drive and everything. And he's like, call me when you need me. And he just tells him that the kids, the Supermen of America are not ready. And they're not ready. So then back at football, he takes a puff of the stuff. And he's like, he feels it. Look at his eyes right there. Whoa, look at that. Anyways, so coach, he's like, I taught, I've been listening to what you're saying, and was wondering if I could get a couple throws in. So they do it. He does better than Pete and everything, and impresses the coach. So then back here, Lucy shows up. And she's like, what are you doing here? She's like, Lucy, I just want to talk. She's like, give me 5 minutes. She's like, room, 426 or whatever. So she goes up there and she's all like, what do you want? She's like, Lucy, you have to come home. And she's like, that's not my home. That's your home and everything. And she's like, I like it here. She's like, Lucy. And she tells her like, Lucy, she's like, Allie is doing this to you, and she's like, and she tells her about, oh gosh, she doesn't do it right now. But she talks about how she covered up a part of the story. Well, she talks about here, she drove their mother away and she's like, what are you talking about? I was 8 years old. Our mother abandoned us. And she was like, she was still, you never talked about her after she left. She's like, she was still my mother. And she's like, not to me. She wasn't my mother, which I get. If your parent abandons you, I get that you're not happy with them. So, and she's talked about this in the first episode of this season about how when Natalie showed up, how she's like, how can a woman do that to her children? So then she's sitting here talking and they've made her, they know she's faking it. She's like, well, I know that you're cuckoo bananas. She's like, let me just show you what's going on. And so she's sitting here talking. They turn on a recording. Hold on, let me see. They turn on a recording of this to show her that Lois is like sitting here talking. And she's like, you covered up a part of the story. You didn't print the part where she's like, I found you in a pool in the bathtub dying. And she's like, I was transcending. I saw my other self. You didn't put that in there. And she's like, yeah, because it would have made you sound crazy. Now, everybody in this episode is acting like Lois did a bad thing. I'm sorry, I'm on Lois's side. That's not something in the story that needed to be printed to prove a point. Because she's like, if I would have put that in there, it would have made you sound crazy. And she's like, well, that was the story. And me personally, let's just pretend I was reading that story. This is for me. I don't know about you, but if I was reading that story and I read that she tried to commit suicide, and while she was committing suicide, she said she saw her other self and she was transcending, I'd go, no. What kind of pills did she take? Because she was probably hallucinating before death. Okay. So I think that these people, everybody's trying to blame Lois like she did a bad thing. Even Lois is blaming herself like she did a bad thing. But I'm like, no, Lois didn't do a bad thing. I'm on Lois's side. I'm team Lois on this one. Lucy can suck it for real, though, because she's super hot. Anyways, so can Allie. Allie's pretty cute, too. And not in those glasses or in that getup. Yeah, but she's pretty cute too. Anyways, she's pretty cute too. There's a lot of good looking people on this show. So she's all like, it's funny what we can do with hide nanny cams in. She's like, come for us again and we'll release this to the world. And it's a good thing it's not me, because I'd be like, all right, release it. I don't care. She's all like, I got a lot to process here. You lied to me and everything. She's like, I can explain. She's like, I don't want to talk right now. I just want to listen to soft rock while we drive home. And I was like, I don't understand why everybody, maybe you guys can explain how Lois is the bad guy in this situation, because I don't see it. Especially because we know that Allie is a bad guy or a villain, but I don't see it. So back at the house, they confront Sarah and they say, hey, Dean is coming for you. She's like, listen, she's like, I was in a bad place. I made a wrong decision. Am I not allowed to take that decision or that bad choice and learn from it? And they're like, of course you are. And she's like, and I'm not going to let him take a weak moment in my life and turn that on against me. She's like, I was in a bad place. You know, I did a bad thing. And this was good writing. Kudos on Sarah. Kudos on the writers. Love this show. Anyways. And then she's like, I would love to get on that screen to talk about that. What does she say? Country fried ass and everything. It's very funny. Very funny. So they're walking home and he's getting a little weirded out by the drugs, which I just go, that's what's going down here. And he sees this bird and it's coming at him, but he's like, oh, and she's like, what's going on with you? He's like, that bird. She's like, that bird that's like really far away. And she's like, are you high? And he's all like, no, and everything. And she's like, because you're acting like you're high. And then he's like, I want a snack. No. So back at the house, she's all like, I can't remember exactly what she says, but she says, I want to help Lucy. And he's like, my mom always said, there's nothing wrong with helping somebody or something like that, or help somebody that needs it or whatnot. And she's like, what if they don't want to be helped? And I don't think he answers her, but they get a hit on Bizzaro, and it's in this, I think he says Siberia. Yeah, I think he says Siberia. And they're like, go. And they're like, you're not going to call Superman or something like that. And he's like, just you guys got this and everything. They don't have it. So, and I wish they would have done, showed them a little bit more, because we're not going to get to see most of them anymore. So then they head over to Siberia, where he's just chilling. He's just chilling, contemplating, his life. And they show up and they're like, sir, we are the Supermen of America. You're coming with us and everything. And that's a good shot. This is a really good Bizarro costume. I really like it a lot. I know it's probably not like anything special, but I like it a lot. And so he's all like, oh, he's like, and then he gets the thing. He's like, did you hear her, sir? She said, you're coming with us and everything. And I'm all like, oh, y'all are talking shit. So then they start fighting. He punches him, punchy punch. And then he grabs these two by the neck. And then he just breaks their neck. He's like, and everything. And they're like, and everything. And I was like, oh, shit. They took these two out like super fast. I was like, bummer, because I wanted to see what they could do. I don't know anything about the Supermen of America in the comic books. I don't remember reading anything from them. So I know that they're in there. I read an article where the showrunner lied, because he said we were going to see Doomsday. We didn't get to see Doomsday. It's bizarre, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not mad about it. And so then he's like, I gotta go, and then everything. And then John's like, does he need help? And she's like, yes. And so he goes to get the suit. So then this kid's all like sitting here and he's like ready to die. It's like, prepare to die and everything. And then as he's getting ready, Superman flies in. You can see him in the background right here, right there. He flies in, and of course the thing starts sucking energy off. That's what I think. I don't know if that's true. and they blast, and the thing falls off. He's like, run. And he's all like, yeah, okay. And he grabs the locket and he runs away. And then these two, they just start going at it. And it was glorious. It was a glorious fight. And John Henry comes in there, Steel. I really hope they fix the suit and it looks more comic booky and everything. Well, the body part isn't, just the helmet and everything, but I get it at the same time. I'm not mad about it. It's just because this is very cool. I like John Henry. He, first off, spoiler alert. Well, this whole thing, he better be okay and he better get that suit back because I like that they have Steel as a character on this show and I like this character and so they better not get rid of him. I'll be very upset and everything, and he better still be a superhero. I'm not joking. Like, they build him a better suit and it's like better and it's super awesome. And yeah, anyways, so he sees it and he's all like, convert all power to the hammer. So he goes in and he whips the hammer. And he's punching him and he kicks him, but then the hammer comes in and bam, but it breaks the hammer, kind of like Hela does to Mjolnir in Thor. So he's like, Clark, Superman, you okay? You have to get up and everything. He's like, and then it's like, John, incoming, and then bam, knocks him out. And it does, like, hardcore, like he is down for the count, like seriously down. So he gets up. And he gets mad. He's like, oh, you done wrecked my bestie. It's go time. So they start fighting. He's blasting him and everything. And he's punching. And it was so good. This fight, the fights in this episode, this season have been very good. Last season were good too. I'm not dissing on last season, but this season's like they upped it. And in my opinion, I'm happy. So they're fighting and he just hits him so hard that he goes away. And then he runs down. He's like, John, are you okay? Kind of thing. He checks his brain, make sure he's not like dead, but he's not dead. He's just kind of in a coma. And he flies off with him. They get back and she's like, it's John. And she's like, it's John. He's like, he's not okay. They go to the hospital and she's like, you did this. You kind of thing. She doesn't say it like that, but although that acting was better than Batwoman. Anyways. So then back at they see Dean on the street and they confront him. And I'm all like, oh, that's such a dumb move. But Kyle, he's a hothead. And she's all like, you go after our daughter and everything. She's like, we need to make a rule that the kids are off limits. And he's like, oh, absolutely. Kids are off limits. I couldn't agree more. And in a smug kind of, look at his smug little face with his little fat nose. Ugh, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. Plus what he did to them last season. He's a dick. And he's all like, oh yeah. Hey, Kyle, heard when you get on the little sauce, you get a little mouthy and everything. And and she's all like, listen, she's like, it's okay. She's like, you're sober now and all that's in the past. And I was like, what's going on there? So they come back and they're like, is John Henry okay? And they're like, she's like, no, he's not okay and everything. And then Grandpa leaves, but he's like, hey, Grandpa, I want to talk to you. She's like, I need to be trained. I want you to help train me. I need to be able to help my dad when he needs it. And I'm all like, yes, this is what I like. You know what I really hope they do? I hope they do the Super Sons from the comic books where Damian Wayne comes in and they like team up and stuff. That would be so good. They're not going to do it because they're not cool like that, but it would make me so happy if they did. So anyways, he's all like, all right, but don't tell your dad kind of thing. So then back at this bar, Alex comes in, he sits down at the bar. And she's like, hey, everybody really missed you. She's like, I missed you too. And he's like, yeah, that's what I'm here. I want to talk to you about. He had an affair. What a little douche. So then she's sitting here and she calls her partner and then she's remembering, she leaves a message and then she's remembering the past and she's like, I will expose Alex. She's like, what are you going to do? She's like, I will tell the truth. And she's like, do whatever you got to do. She's like, I will. And again, I don't think she did anything wrong. But she picks up her phone and she calls Alan. She's like, I want to hear the entire truth about Lois Lane. She's like, okay, I'm going to tell you. She's like super happy and everything because she's like, got him and everything. So I really liked this episode a lot. I thought it was really, really good. I think that this show compared to the other CW shows, and I know this is HBO Max also, but this show is doing it right in my opinion. It's so good. That and it's like Stargirl is really good, and I think that they're just doing it right in my opinion, and I'm really thankful for that because I just love Tyler Hoechlin. Everybody's doing a good job in my opinion, and This show is just fantastic, you guys. It's fantastic. I like, like I said, they're representing dads correctly, in my opinion. Even the moms are good in this show. I mean, yeah, Lois's mom bailed, but we haven't seen her. But like Lois is a good mom. Lana's a good mom. I think it's good. The show's really, really good. The relationships are pretty good. I think they're doing that old stereotype of the drugs and everything, but they're doing it, I think, in a different kind of new way, even with the kryptonite drugs, because I think they did that in Smallville, but I think that they're doing this in a little bit of a different way. But I will go see where it goes to that. Maybe it'll open up Jonathan to having superpowers now. Who knows? All right, you guys. So that is my breakdown and review of this episode. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? How do you feel about Allie as a bad guy? How do you feel about Bizzaro? Do you think my theory is right, or do you think it's just crazy bananas? Yeah, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on my next Superman and Lois breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.